Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about the movies, obviously their TV shows, merchandising, theme parks, I don't know, whatever the case may be. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, I'll be talking about it. I mean, okay, technically, again, they didn't make this character, but Montel and Disney did work on multiple occasions, so good enough for me, I guess. So yes, this is again gonna be one of these types of videos where I'll be speaking about, lost media. Yep, doing this again. So yes, I've done over 100 videos of this series, and there's still quite a bit of to talk about when it comes to cinema. So yes, I'm still counting directed video. Anyway, still part of storytelling. But for one reason or another, it just seems that something will get in the way. It could be creative differences, budget problems, director choices, I don't know, a variety of different things can unfortunately get in the way. So, of course, as you can already see, this again is going to be in regards of Barbie, and it's one of these types of movies. Again, it's they had an original concept that would be later reworked, which I'll get to in just a moment, of course. But anyway, for this type of video, I'm going to be discussing the unmade scrapped project, and is the film titled Barbie the Royal Ballerina. So yes, this one was going to be centered around a ballerina kind of a thing. Yeah, seriously, that's going to be a thing in this movie. And of course, a ballerina. But anyway, so okay, it seems, I guess, easy enough. A graceful, elegant type of a role, I guess. A stunning figure and whatnot. So I figured that this would make sense, of course. And yeah, these is just one of these types of things I thought I'd just cover because considering the fact that this seems like something that would talk about. And anyway, there were some key points that was mentioned in for this project, of course. For the original plot, the idea, well, they had something of a story, and yes, the original story was going to center around this royal ballerina, as you might guess. And yes, of course, as you can judge yourself, the royal is there for the name royal was going to be there for a reason because, as you can guess, obviously Barbie herself was going to be again going to be playing another princess type character. Yep, she was going to be a princess character, a princess ballerina in this one, folks. So in this one, she's a princess who pretty much swaps places with a look-alike ballerina. So there was that. If this does kind of sound like something very similar that was already done before, well, okay, kind of done before because they've already done that with this movie, the whole switcheroo here. To only do it again with this film, of course, which, like I said before, is a personal favorite of mine. Okay, I'm not quite too sure on some of the release dates, really. I was never really given any kind of information on when these releases will be confirmed, really. Maybe in some cases, maybe, but not always. But anyway, this would have been the third time they've done this kind of a thing, folks. Like, okay. And no, I'm not saying that's why this was abandoned. I'm not quite too sure as to why exactly. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm not quite too sure why this was abandoned, really. I mean, yes, it was reworked for a Barbie movie that was actually officially released, which I'll get to in just a moment. But yes, it just goes to show you that how a lot of these movies could be planned, but then to only be tweaked up. I mean, this has happened with multiple other movies, so this right here isn't anything new, really, because it has happened with features multiple times. So of course, this kind of thing was even going to bound to happen even with Barbie. It happened to Barbie before. This was not the only time that had occurred with the franchise. So I guess in other words, this had occurred again here. But anyway, this film, like as I mentioned earlier, was eventually abandoned and reworked as Barbie in the pink shoes. And the thing is that this has something to do with her being a princess. Yep, that still ended up being a thing.
Oh, well, of course.
I guess, except that one of the major differences between this version and the original version is going to be putting more emphasis on her being a ballerina and, yes, the whole thing with the pink shoes. That was definitely going to be a major tweak up from the original film, quite clearly. Yes, shifting from this kind of one way to another, of course, is going to be a thing. And the magical pink shoes was added, of course, along with new additional characters and settings overall. Barbie and the Pink Shoes premiered on February 26th of 2013. The general reception of the film did receive positive reviews for its beautiful animation, its intriguing storytelling, strong female lead, so on and so forth. So the finished project was extremely well received from the fan base and critics alike. So I guess that's something, I suppose. I mean, okay, I guess in some ways it was not a total loss that it didn't exactly turn out the way it originally intended because the film was definitely well received anyway. But it does leave me to wonder how it could have been. Would have been any difference if they kept it the way they originally wanted? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter really because, like I said, the finished project was ultimately well received anyway. I mean, this has been a common thing before where elements from a previous project could be reworked into a newer product. That has happened before with other movies. This is not something that was exclusively just to Barbie, of course. This happened to other films, of course. And I guess it wasn't completely abandoned. It was just abandoned to some extent, is what I'm getting at. So certain elements was just repackaged for this movie, of course. And all right, that was definitely a thing for this movie, quite clearly. And that's fine, I suppose. It is fun to think about how a storyline could change from one stage to another during its production. It's a pretty good thing to think about, I suppose. If you want to just learn behind the scenes kind of a thing, in some ways, that's kind of the point. What I'm trying to do here, just discuss certain aspects of the films. It's just that it goes to show you that maybe just because you made it to the film industry in one way or another does not mean your film will get made. And that's not to discourage anybody because, at least in this case, you still could get your movie made. At least a certain version of your vision could get made. For better or for worse, this can be a good thing. I guess in this case, it wasn't all bad, is what I'm saying. It still worked out nonetheless anyway because ultimately you still got a movie out of it, even if some of this was tweaked up a bit, has been revised, I suppose. Which again, I would reiterate the fact that this is a pretty common thing when it comes to Hollywood and whatnot. I know this is technically a direct-to-video feature, but just because it's a direct-to-video feature does not necessarily mean you're out the woods just yet. The same thing could happen to these kinds of movies as well, folks. But anyway, moreover, I just figured to do this as a way to talk about Barbie and Disney at the same time, of course. Yes, to be perfectly clear here, Disney had nothing to do, zip zero to do with production of this film in any shape or form. Nobody from Disney worked on this film. There was no script writers. There was no one from the higher up, the directors, or nobody. There was literally no one, nor voice actors, nor voice actors, zip, zilch, absolutely no one from Disney had worked on this. And I'm just putting this in my Disney movie-a-thon, just solely just merely on the fact that Mattel and Disney had cooperated with each other over the years. That's it. They didn't have any. When I say they, I mean Mattel. They didn't have no kind of deal or anything with Disney in any shape or form for this specific project. This project specifically had nothing to do with Disney. I'm just again, like I just said, just slipping it here, just on the mere fact that both companies, Mattel and Disney, had worked together quite often over the years. Mattel had actually helped Disney to release some of the doll line, which they still do to this very day. As a recent example, Mattel and Disney had teamed up to release some merchandising for the movie Wish, as you can see here, folks, for various characters and whatnot. So, yeah, they still have some kind of partnership throughout the years. And just so you know, Mattel had nothing to do with the movie Wish, okay? Just so you know, but they still had some kind of production deal in regards to other dolls themselves. Just to be perfectly clear here, folks. Just to throw that out there. Anyway, just going back to this one. It just makes me wonder what could have been if they actually went through with this feature. I'm not quite too sure if it would have been received just as well, if not more or not. I have no idea. Your guess is just good as mine, so who knows? I guess just take an educated guess, maybe. Whatever, I suppose. But anyway, so okay, this is just one of these types of princess movies I want to talk about. So okay, it wouldn't be the first time I talked about a princess movie. Of course, doing a princess thing is very a Disney thing to do because the studio is very known for making princess type movies anyway. So it would be nice if they picked this movie up, the scrapped version, I guess, and they did their own take on it, maybe. I don't know. It would be pretty cool though. Anyway, I guess that would be for now. So, of course, as usual, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh, yeah, later. Oh, yeah, definitely.